150,000 people minimum every day they can to make more money. It's
Mhm.
really the business of helping people.
Before you explore franchise options, take a few minutes to understand how you are wired. The assessment link is below. Today, are talking about Drymedic Restoration Services, a restoration brand focused on water, fire, and mold remediation. Drymedic is part of Authority Brands, which gives owners access to shared services, national marketing muscle, and a playbook built across home services. This is a business built for speed, trust, and repeatable execution in a stressful moments for customers. Our guest, Richard Zimmer, works closely with the brand and sees firsthand where they struggle and what separates strong operators from average ones. He brings a practical view of the model and how it shows up in the real world. So welcome, Richard.
Hi, Laura. Nice to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Can you give a little background about yourself and then how you got into franchising, and then we'll roll into a bit more about Drymedic?
Absolutely. And I always put the teaser out. I'm way too young for the experience that I have.
I love it.
I actually got into franchising when I came out of graduate school and went to a company where we would sell training to companies and
Hmm.
big ones like Ford Motor Company. I'm in Michigan, kind of start there and around the country.
Yeah.
And went to my first International Franchise Association meeting in 1984.
Wow.
And so actually began working with franchise companies at that time, working with helping them do training for sales and for operations and understanding things. Didn't know what franchising was, right? Just went to the thing and learned about it. And I was awesome. I fell in love with the fact that you are really in charge, even when you're working with other franchise companies. And basically got hired away by franchise companies to
That's good.
do development for them.
Yeah.
So over the years, I've been in automotive, I've been in healthcare, hair care, advertising. I have owned my own franchise, actually had a franchise company that I started and sold along the way, but really love helping people get into business and
Right.
having them understand how they can and the benefits of it. So been in it, going to be in it for a long time more, hopefully. And that's kind of my background.
So you can really give them firsthand experience as well as from the business side, but also from your personal experience. That's really
Yeah,
valuable.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
really valuable. So tell us a little bit more about Drymatic and the services that it does. And when people hear restoration, they think chaos. I think so maybe just walk us through a little bit more about how you bring that chaos into order for people.
Well, and the chaos part of it is you're right, is what people, when you mention the word restoration, oh, you're the ones that come and help when things are messed up. And yes, that's the business. Something leaked, you have water all over. Maybe you had a fire. Maybe you've got mold and you're trying to sell your home. It's really the business of helping people in your community that you're in. That's the number one reason our owners really like this business, and
Okay.
helping them get back to normal. What are the steps? What are the processes to help you get back to the way you were? Because typically it happens very quickly. It's not something people plan for. And there's everyday stuff. There's you go away for a couple of days, come back, and the water line to your dishwasher broke. Now you got a flooded kitchen. I mean,
Hmm.
that's really that kind of infrastructure stuff is the main part of the business. And
Yep.
then people hear about the weather events. Oh my gosh, straight line winds, fires, hurricane stuff. And it's making the news more and more. And the weather is changing. And so you're seeing more. And that's kind of more of a bonus for us in terms of the business side of it. But it's the same thing. How do I get back to normal? Something
Right.
happened. Tree came through the roof. What do I do? Most
Right.
people have never been through it. So it's, taking that and putting a process to it about getting them back to the way they were is really the business.
Yeah, no, it's a stressful. I've had almost every instance you've mentioned, but I remember one time my washer never shut off overnight, and I thought I heard my baby crying. Turned out she wasn't, but I jumped out of bed in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden I'm standing in water, and I was like, "What do I do?" That panic of where do I go first? But figuring out how to turn it off, and it's stressful. But it does come to order. But that initial
It is
reaction
that
to it,
when people call, you were right when you said, look, when people call, they really are not in their best. They're
right?
like, I really don't know what I'm doing. They might be staying at a hotel. They might not
Yeah,
even be in the house. And,
yeah.
people have like I've got a plumbing guy or I've got a handyman guy. No one has a restoration guy. It's
Right.
like you don't need it till you need it. So yeah, that's very much the business.
Very much. Okay. So when you think about owners that are coming into you guys, what are the characteristics or what are you typically looking for in an owner or what makes someone successful with you?
With us, it's interesting in that this business is very much a service. And the type of owners that are successful and who we look for are not the ones that want to be in the van doing the work. They want to be the ones growing the business, and starting with one van, growing from there. So we're looking for people, and the people who are successful actually kind of come from like a more of a white collar background. They come from corporate sales, corporate ops. I've got a chiropractor who want to get out of chiropractic. We've got nurses. We've got CFOs. People who understand processes and want to process either because they like it and it's what they used to use or understand they need one so that they can scale and go through it. So that's really our owners. I have very few that have any construction background, or I have none with restoration background. And so
Right.
you really don't need that. So we're looking for that. Got to be problem solvers because it's always a little different.
Hmm.
The main reason people will tell you they got into it was that we're paid, most of what we do is paid for by insurance. So they like the recession resistant side of it, but they really liked helping people in their community and they like the culture of that. And we work at that, our core values of compassion and professionalism and positivity, not always something easy to do. And they align with that. So it's the culture, it's the business. It's not, I want to go and work on things that you're going to hire people for that.
Right. The calls that come in the middle of the night, how does that does that worry people looking at this business or
It's a
and
part
how
of the
does it
business, and we advertise 24/7 availability. It's because a lot of times it's not that every call is an emergency. The example of somebody coming home on the weekend and finding could be the toilet in the bathroom broke and it was leaking, could be the refrigerator. They're going to call at 9 or 10, okay? And it's going to be, what do I do? And it isn't necessarily that you need to go right away. They got to get the water turned off. They have to kind of get the air, get it stabilized, and often you're going to end up going out the next day. But it's that phone call back that needs to happen pretty quick.
yeah.
And then there are the emergency side of it. And an example would be if you're in an area where it could be Midwest, it could be the South, everybody has different things. Hurricanes hit, you're going to have a 24-hour call going, okay?
Hmm.
And you're going to need to go. Sometimes the call comes from, we had one that was a hospital and their fire suppression lines broke, those sprinkler lines. And so they called and it was 11 o'clock and they called and said, okay, we've got people coming out to turn the water off. We need to get this. We can't wait till tomorrow. That's your emergency 24/7 and you need to respond. Same thing, call, go. And we hire appropriately and we work with the franchise owners to where the people you're going to hire understand there's going to be that call. There's an offsetting piece to it. Number one, it's not a high percentage of the business.
Right.
Typically, most areas, we see anywhere from maybe 10 to 15% of the
Okay.
calls, but insurance companies pay more for that kind of a response. So you make more, but you can pay your people more. And so
Okay.
that's another incentive when you're hiring someone to say, hey, I might call you at midnight. It might happen and probably will while I own this. But you're going to get paid more for doing it. So it's,
Right.
that kind of a incentive. And there's lots of people that want to work every holiday or every day they can to make more money. So it kind of works. So it's advertised, it's there, it will happen, but it isn't all the time.
Right. Okay. So when someone's starting off with this business, they're starting with one van, one technician, or how does that typically work? What's your workforce startup?
I have two ownership models, and what's different about us.
Okay.
We have the owner operator, where
Okay.
yes, they open a territory. A territory is like 250,000 people minimum, so they're
Hmm.
big, and they can be
Hmm.
bigger than that. You have one van, and you're typically going to wear a lot of hats, and you're going to hire two technicians to do the work. The other ownership model is a semi-absentee model, which right now about 25% of my system is. So they either have a job and they want to keep it till this gets going,
Hmm.
or they actually own some other businesses. Either way, they cannot run this full time. And
Okay.
so we have a program for it. The difference is still one van. You're still going to have a small warehouse that you operate out of in your territory, same size territory, but you're going to hire a manager and you're going to hire what we call a foreman. And a foreman's an experienced technician. So they know how to run the jobs and they will be your daily operators.
Okay.
We tell people they need 15 to 20 hours a week of flexibility in their job so they can respond, they can attend Teams meetings, they can be on calls. It works as long as they have that flexibility. So that's kind of the setup. And then you grow from there as you expand into either into the different services or just with more people doing what you're doing.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So new owner comes on. How are they getting leads? What is the sales cycle like? What's their first 90 days look like? And then how are they growing, building up that pipeline?
First 90 days is going to be, they'll have gone through training. There's a 2-week training course here in Michigan. They
Hmm.
end up in the training, which typically the build up and opening process takes people roughly 3 to 4 months to get everything done. Then they come to training. Then they go back and they open, and they're open for their first after a week after training. We turn on the digital marketing, which is going to be, of course, your website. We have coming soon websites, SEO to get you ranked quickly, but also we buying leads and lead generation through digital. We turn
Okay.
that on about a month before you open so that
Okay.
Google can find you and start to hopefully generate some leads. Another big piece to this market is the local kind of grassroots in terms of marketing. In the business, when people get a leak, for example, like the examples we gave with a broken water line, first person they usually call is a plumber to come
Right.
out and turn off the water. Well, plumbers don't clean anything up. They refer to a restoration company.
Hmm.
Just so happens, so do heating and cooling guys, so do electricians. Property managers use us like crazy.
Right.
Move in, move out. And so it's really marketing to them. And we have all the marketing materials, all the follow up emails, all the automatic drips, and kind of helping them learn how to do it. And it's very customary, that kind of customer service talking to people. So they're going to be doing both phone
Yep.
rings from either way, but that's what's going to happen. So the first 90 days is going to be a mix of the phone ringing from the ads, the local referrals starting to come in, and then they will build for their first year.
Gotcha. Okay. And in terms of when those calls do come in from customers, are they going straight to that franchise owner, or do you have a call center, or what's the
So
way
we
you do
do
that?
everything we do is directed that the calls go right to the franchise owner.
Okay.
We have a call center that they can use. It's very flexible. So
Okay.
if you're in an area that gets hit with a big weather event, you can turn them on because you can't handle all the phone calls. And they will put all the information into the software that we use, so you'll have it. Or you can use it for, hey, it's the weekend. I'm going to a football game for my nephew, and I'm going to have the call center on. It's pretty flexible that way, so
Oh,
that
nice.
the owners can get some time that way as well.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Interesting. In terms of that, so the owner needs to be able to respond. So then in terms of their flexibility of the job, is the owner typically answering those calls, or that in that semi-flexible, or no, you've got your GM and or your
Right.
foreman?
Your manager's the one answering those
Gotcha.
calls if you're semi-absentee. Your
Okay.
manager's doing that we call marketing. And our
Hmm.
definition would be answering the phone when it rings, going out and doing the estimating, and also going out and doing that local grassroots stuff and talking.
Gotcha.
Even a chamber of commerce meeting, something like that.
So in that instance, if you're hiring those, what is the owner doing in terms of managing that process and being involved in the business? How are
So
they?
they need the flexibility to be able to respond to their people. The softwares we use are pretty advanced in the market. We're a very big tech company with
Hmm.
on how we do the marketing. So actually, the softwares everybody's in, because we're paid by insurance, we need a lot of details and we need to track everything. So as an owner, you can log into that software from anywhere to see how any job is going at any time, and be able to also send communication because it's a CRM. So you can respond to your people from being somewhere else. So you're really going to oversee like those jobs if they have questions, but at a high level. How's marketing working? Here's the jobs that are going. Do you have everybody out there? We're going to have marketing meetings, their teams meetings. They have to be able to attend those. We're also going to have monthly meetings with all the franchise owners, and we're going to go into what's working for marketing, what's not,
Oh,
what are new
perfect.
programs. They need to be able to attend those, and their managers can too, but they really need to.
Hmm.
We know as a franchise, we're the daily support for that manager and for that foreman. If they've got a technical question, that's what we're doing. We don't expect the owner to be doing that.
Okay. Oh, fantastic. Okay. That's great. Overall investment to get into this business?
The range last year was between 196,000 to 318,000.
Hmm.
That range reflects the ownership difference. The
Yeah.
higher end, I have salaries for foreman, salaries for a manager, higher working capital in that. So the lower end is an owner operator. They don't have those salaries.
Any great stories of like first year, second year folk? Well, any great stories that you can share, whether it's financial or just successes that people have?
Absolutely can. And I'm sure you've heard this and your clients hear this. The people that follow the system are the better success stories because they always do better by
Yeah.
following the system. We have one owner. I guess I really have a couple, but one is his sisters that wanted to be moms and be able to get into business down in Florida and knew nothing about
Yeah.
construction. They didn't know what a drill or drill bit would be. They
Yeah.
didn't, looked at a lot of different things and really fell in love with the culture, what we do, how the business works. They opened up down in Florida, south of Tampa. And actually, in their first year, they were runners up for Rookie of the Year and how well they
Fantastic.
did. There's stories like that. And again,
Hmm.
because most people don't come from the business, it's the learning curve and what they go through. But our process and training is really good so they can get going kind of quickly.
That's fantastic. Is the majority of the calls water related versus fire, or do you have a?
It depends. One of the things about us is we're full service,
Hmm.
meaning we're in every revenue stream that there is. So there's really 7 revenue streams in this. And the first ones come in mitigation, which is what you just were referring to. And that's
Right.
water. We do water, smoke, mold. We do biohazard or trauma. We do
Hmm.
asbestos. We do contents. So we do personal contents of cleaning and storing and bringing back.
Oh, you
And
do.
we
Yeah.
do. And we do construction. So we do the reconstruction of it. Now, Drymedic does it all, and the franchise owners don't have to. It's too
Yeah.
much to start doing it all. So
Right.
they all do start in water, smoke, and mold and grow
Yep.
from
Yep.
there. So those are the customer acquisition activities. It's how you learn to deal with insurance companies. So the growth and how you go can really be to any size you want. Want to do more water, do more water. But you're probably going to do mold because you're doing water, and it's good. Mold's getting as big as water.
Is
Then
it
you start telling people you're doing contents. So the same customer becomes more valuable because you're getting more business from them. So it
right?
depends on how you want to grow. And our people guide people on basically what do they want to do.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. And how many owners are you up to now?
65 as of right now. That's about 119 territories
Okay.
in roughly 24 states. So it's good growth. We
Yeah.
became part of Authority Brands in 2022. So that's when we started actually franchising. So a lot of open area though. There's still a lot of places to go.
Fantastic. In terms of the well, you talked about some of the growth, and in terms of that construction side of things, because I know the Paul Davises of the world, they get quite large because they do that. Do you have some franchise owners that are doing all components of it right now, or?
We do. You actually can grow fairly quickly. It has to do with the way, and a real quick answer, the way you get paid by insurance companies is you do the work, they pay you after, and you file. And our system is such that we have all the pictures and data and stuff they need to see, and we're typically paid in 30 days or less from when we do something.
Really?
Okay.
Oh, that's
So
good.
that's for the water, smoke, mold contents.
Hmm.
Construction, to your point, they don't pay you till you're done. So it could be 4 months, 5 months, right? If it drags out. So we
Yeah.
work with the owners on how to manage this and really what do they want to grow into? There's a lot of referring in the business. They may refer it to a construction company and they actually could pay a referral fee. They do the work or you just refer each other back and forth. So we work it that way. So that's
Okay.
where with the owners, but I have people in their first year adding vans, adding services, getting into these. The more aggressive owners are getting
Yeah.
into that. And you're right, the volume for construction is high. It's a little lower margin because you tend to be subcontracting things versus
Right.
the other. So that's why
Yeah.
some people refer it because they're like, I'll just do more of the other stuff. So
Exactly.
we've got a lot of options for them, and there's a system for them to do. And then every franchisee doesn't run it the same. They're always a
Right.
little different.
Now, if there is a big, you know, hurricane or whatnot, do they work together with other companies? Like, how does that happen in terms of who gets called in for those big events?
It's absolutely. Everyone thinks about a Florida when a hurricane hits and what happens, or Houston or some of
Yeah.
the other areas. Even in Atlanta,
Yeah.
2 years ago when we had the one that
Everywhere it's
came up
getting hit. Yeah.
everywhere. So yes, we have all the systems in place to where if we need to get them more equipment, we can. We actually have tractor trailers with equipment, and we have stuff in warehouses that we can also get to them. And then, in addition, other franchise owners that are near them absolutely can pitch in and work with them. They would all do it under the Drymedic name and work
Right.
together. So, and we've had that happen a few times now. And as we grow and get bigger, it will happen more and more. But definitely have a system in place for it. And it works out good. Last year, when the stuff did hit into the Tampa area, the whole East Coast didn't get anything. So those
Right. Fantastic.
franchisees were like, I can help because our phones were ringing literally 80 times an hour at that time. So so the call center was on, but there was
Yeah.
no way one franchise owner could handle that work. So basically kind of calls went out saying, okay, need some help. want to take care of people here, and Drymedic name, everybody wins, and that's what we do.
In terms of um, the levers that really move the profitability in this model, what would you say those?
The levers that the biggest profitability is in the water, smoke, mold, biohazard stuff, because labor is really low in terms of what you're using. Everyone's heard of the fans and dehumidifiers and stuff that you're using. Well, in a typical job, you might need 3 or 4 days of the fans running. Now, the insurance companies pay you for absolutely everything you do. And so fans running, they're paying you. And so your margins stay high because it's basically equipment at that point. And so the levers are more equipment, getting more jobs and having more equipment running is a big one. And there's where the construction side is lower, but the volume goes up because it's just bigger jobs. So question of is what you want to do. But water is the same. Our trucks are all equipped with the same equipment. If it's a water job, fine. If it's a mold job, you can go do it, fine. If you get a fire, same thing. You're equipped to do it. You have an equipment package that you shouldn't need anything else for your first year with what you have. So that's the big lever. And then that's why when you're ready for your next van, are you going to do more water? Fine. Then more equipment, get it out there and get it paying. That's how you really maintain the margins.
What's one question that you wished every potential candidate asked you?
Because one of the questions that I don't get asked is, you're going to be managing basically hourly wage people when you first start. And I have a lot of professionals that come into this. So it's a little bit of a learning curve on how do I manage these technicians because they're hourly. I say technician, but they're mostly demolition, taking out wet carpet, that kind of stuff, and just how I'm managing them. It's a little different than what they're used to. So just kind of asking a little bit more about that. See, because it's a bit of a learning curve in that first 90 days that they kind of
is that probably the steepest learning curve people have or with the model?
Actually, yeah, because it's learning how to run a business. My owners, for the most part, have never been in business before. So that is the learning curve, is how to manage these. This is different than if you're an accountant and you have meetings, and even though you might have people reporting to you, it's a different management.
It sure is. Yeah. And I don't know, I don't know how people prepare for that other than being open-minded to learning how to work with, and just step through and doing it.
Yeah, it is. And then they get through it, they learn it, and it's, and they grow.
Yeah. What excites you about this brand and where it's growing to?
Really excited. Number one, I'm a big culture person. I do this because I love putting people in business and want to do it the right way and want them to have a long-term success that they can go for. The owners, the brand presidents were the founders of this. They're still in charge. They have the same goals. They want to grow the company, want to make it larger, but the profitability of the franchisees is the first thing, and the culture of what we do. And so it's, looking for people. We're in the same boat. People are looking for a good fit, and we're looking for a good fit. And I'm excited that this company is really big about that good fit. And we want, that makes for long-term growth really good, rather than not just kind of looking for people, which would not be exciting. Talking about the services and really what we're doing, just looking for the right people and looking forward to meeting and talking with them.
No, it sounds like obviously a very large opportunity. It's wonderful that you've got the two models that people can consider. You'll walk them through the practicality of what it does take to be successful. There is that 24-hour element to it, so that's got some stressors to it, but there's a huge upside, obviously, to that financially.
There is financially, and in our documents, my average year franchisee last year did just under 1.2 million in gross sales. And the people that are following the system, my top 25 percenters, did a little over 2.7 million in gross sales. So there is good revenue and good profitability.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. Wonderful. I appreciate your time, Richard. Yeah, this is great, and we'll look forward to an update down the road from you.
Well, thank you so much, Laura. This has really been fun. Really nice talking with you.
Yeah. And folks, if you're curious about exploring franchise ownership, click the link below. Do a little assessment. We'll see if it's the right avenue for you.